White folk classes in session. Buck breaking was a term and practice during slavery in America that referred to the systemic, brutal, sexual abuse of enslaved black men by white enslavers. It was used as a form of punishment, domination, and psychological control to break the spirit of enslaved men and instill fear within the larger enslaved community. Did you know that? See, this is stuff they're never, ever going to put in our children's history books, not in elementary or high school, for various reasons. One is because many white men, straight white men, don't want you to know that their ancestors were raping men, sodomy. They don't want you to know that. Second of all, it shows the inhumane atrocities, the lies that many whites say that, oh no, the slave owner didn't hurt the slaves. Do you know that Africans are proud people, African, and especially African men? And for them had to have been brought over to this here America, and then to have been sexually abused, what it must have done to their spirit. Forget the body, their spirit, their soul, who they were. They wouldn't even treat an animal as bad as that. The purpose of buck breaking, it was a deliberate tactic to emasculate and dehumanize enslaved men, stripping them of their perceived masculinity and authority. This practice aimed to establish control and deter resistance among enslaved people by publicly humiliating them. And many times they did in front of their families. Can you imagine them doing this, a white man doing this to your black husband in front of you and your children? This is what happened in slavery, y'all. White folk, wake up. Wake the fuck up. Some of your ancestors weren't shit. And until we embrace the reality that this shit happened, you're going to keep trying to throw on us Project 2025 and all this other bullshit where you don't want the truth to be taught. And this is why I'm going to get on this here internet and I'm going to scream it from the hills, because we need to know what happened in the past so we never go back from it and you learn from it. Why are you afraid for us to know about the past? Why aren't you learning about the past with the Native Americans and how the white man again raped and pillaged them? What is the problem? What is the fear? And white women, I'm not going to get you off, because there's also a very common practice with the white slave owners' wives to sexually abuse and emotionally abuse the black man, the black slave. So you're not going to get off either. Let me tell you the impact this had on our community. It created deep psychological scars, fostering feelings of shame, humiliation, helplessness, victimization. And see, you got to remember, and I'm going to do a video on this concept called post-traumatic slave syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy wrote the book. And it talks about how, because of what happened in slavery, those traumas subconsciously, unconsciously were passed down from one generation to the next. And we still see it played out. So anytime a trauma is not dealt with, we pass it on. In many ways, we don't even realize it. So imagine how that has gone on in our generations. So many of us battle with feelings of unworthiness or victimization. A seed was planted somewhere, somehow. The practice reinforced the idea of total domination by the enslavers, breaking familiar bonds and discouraging rebellion or disunity. Basically, putting fear in their black, in the enslaved black, so that they wouldn't run away. Because who wants that to happen to them? It created generational trauma. The effect of such practices and many others that were done in slavery are believed to contribute to the intergenerational trauma, influencing the dynamics of masculinity, vulnerability, and identity in Black communities today. day. It also underscores historical roots of stereotypes about Black men being hypersexual or inherently dangerous, which persist in various forms of systemic racism. Let's just sit and chew on it for a minute. Yeah. Buck breaking. Ask your child's English teacher, have they heard about that? Ask your child's history teacher if they're teaching about this. No, all you want to teach about is Dr. King, and that's in February. Tell about your history, y'all. You want to talk about American history, make America great again? This is American history. White men sticking their penises in Black men to control and to dehumanize them. That's America, y'all.